Okay, you're going to work on creating equivalent fractions today. Using some area models. Okay. Okay, so first, some basic stuff that I know you guys already know. A fraction is a part of a whole. And the parts of the fraction are the numerator, which is the number of selected parts, and the denominator, which is the total number of parts. Okay, so it looks like this. 3/4. 3 is the numerator. And 4 is the denominator. So what this fraction is actually saying is 3 out of 4 parts. Okay, so let's say that I have a model here. And it is divided into 4 parts. And I've got 3 parts shaded. Okay. So in creating a fraction from an area model, step 1 would be to count the total pieces. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 total pieces. Step 2 would be to count the shaded pieces. And there are 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 4 pieces are shaded, or the fraction 3/4. So what would an equivalent fraction be now? Those are fractions that names the same part of a whole. So, for example, 3/4 is the same as 6/8, which is the same as 9/12, which is the same as 12/16, and the same as 15/20, for example. Okay? We kind of saw that today when we were working with the fraction strips. We saw a little bit of where we saw some equivalencies. So what we did, for example, to create these equivalent fractions is we took 3/4 and we multiplied the top times 2 and the bottom times 2. Okay? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 2 is 8. So do you see that 3/4 is going to be the same as 6/8, right? If I multiplied 3/4, I multiply the top times 3 and the bottom times 3, then I get 9/12. So I've created equivalent fractions here. Now, here is what I like to call the golden rule of fractions. And we will talk about this all the time. And it is do the same to the top as you do to the bottom. Okay, so that's how we're going to create our equivalent fractions. We're going to do the same thing to the top as we do to the bottom. So if we come back up here and we notice, I multiplied the top times 2 and the bottom times 2. I multiplied the top times 3 and the bottom times 3. That's the only way you're going to get equivalent fractions, is if you do the same thing to the top as you do to the bottom. Okay? And then finally, we're going to throw in a little bit of simplifying fractions. To simplify fractions, you divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF, which is the greatest common factor. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's simplify 6/8. So I'm going to find the greatest common factor between 6 and 8. Okay, so I've got 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, and I have 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Okay, so let me find my common ones. There's 1, 2, okay, and that's it, right? So my greatest one is 2. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2, because I have to do the same to the top as I do to the bottom. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3, and 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So 6/8 is the same as 3/4. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try 15 over 35. Let's simplify that one. Okay, so I'm going to list the factors of 15 and the factors of 35. So I've got 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. I've got 1 times 35 and 5 times 7. Okay. Now I'm going to circle my common ones, 1, 5, and the greatest common one is 5. So now I'm going to take 15 over 35, and I'm going to divide the top and the bottom, following my golden rule of fractions, by 5. Okay? So 15 divided by 5 is 3. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. So 15/35 simplified is 3/7. Okay, we will be doing a lot more of this tomorrow. Bye-bye.